4 Red Sox were invited to participate in the Home Run Derby, taking every American League spot on the roster. Arnie Ramrod, who entered the break with 49 homers, Kid Lakdawala with a total of 33, Stu Bacon with a total of 37, and Tiny Thurman, who entered the break with 44. In the first round, each of the Sox were matched up with a counterpart from the National League. Arnie Ramrod would go head-to-head with Josh Bell to begin the Derby. Bell would tally 4 home runs, meaning Ramrod would need to hit 5 to move on. Arnie would step up to the dish as the massive favorite, and took a moment to acknowledge the oddly warm reception he received from the crowd. He was cherishing the moment as most stadiums in the league boo the shit out of him. Arnie stepped up to the plate and immediately blasted the longest home run of the night, traveling 463 feet off of the time clock. Then he ripped another one 450 feet to left center. At this point, he was already getting cocky and decided to blast one opposite field just to show that he could. Most fans think he is a dead red pull hitter, and Arnie takes that personal. Ramrod would surpass Bell's total of 4 home runs with 35 seconds left to spare and move on to the semifinals. Up next, it was Kid Lakdawala versus Freddie Freeman. Freeman would tally 5 home runs during his at-bat. Kid would end up needing almost his entire allotment of 2 minutes as he would send his 6th home run over the wall with less than 10 seconds left on the clock. This would earn him an opportunity to face off against his outfield mate Ramrod in the semifinals. The third matchup saw the Sox Stu Bacon facing off against Christian Yelich. Yelich blasted 7 home runs, which led the Derby till this point, so Stu had his work cut out for him. With 40 seconds left on the clock, Stu was trailing Yelich by 2 homers and decided to take his time out because the intense heat had the Chubster incredibly gassed. A couple teammates could be seen offering Stu a bit of friendly advice. They were ribbing him about his warning track power so far and let him know that he should probably hit the weights. They also told him his physique was looking pretty flabby for a professional athlete, so he should try doing some bicep curls as well. After a short breather and all that great advice, Stu stepped back up to the plate and was able to surpass Yelich with no time left on the clock. Bacon would be moving on to the semifinals, joining Arnie and Kid. The last matchup of the first round saw Javier Baez competing against Thurman. Baez would hit a meager total of only 1 home run. Thurman was able to easily crack 2 home runs and strolled into his second-round matchup. After only 1 round, the Red Sox had eliminated all of the competition, so it was going to be an all-Boston semifinals. On one side of the bracket, outfielders Arnie and Kid were matched up, and on the other side, the Canadian sluggers Thurman and Stu would duke it out. Boston had already won the Derby, so now it was all about the bragging rights. Kid Lakdawala was first up to the plate. Kid was having a mediocre round, but was able to hit a couple long home runs and afford himself some bonus time. With the extra 30 seconds, Kid was able to hit a total of 7 home runs, setting the bar quite high for Ramrod, but definitely not insurmountable. Although they were great friends off the field, Arnie wasn't about to let the young superstar get the better of him here, and Ramrod picked up where he left off in the first round by blasting ball after ball into the outfield stands for souvenirs. Even so, Ramrod still was only able to tie Kid Lakdawala's home run total with 10 seconds remaining on the clock. With no time remaining on the clock, Arnie got one final swing off and wrapped a long home run around the foul pole to move himself into the Derby final. Kid had pushed Arnie to the limit in an incredibly competitive semifinal. It was all love between the two as Kid wished Arnie good luck in the final. Now it was time for Thurman and Stu to battle it out and see who would face Ramrod in the final. Bacon was up first. He started hitting homers early and often, spraying the ball around the park on his way to a whopping total of 8 home runs.
Time's up. That will do it. He finishes with 8 home runs.
Thurman had a tall task ahead of him. He started off the round quite hot by hitting 3 homers in the first 40 seconds. With 40 seconds remaining, Thurman would trail Stu by 3 home runs, and he wasn't quite able to close the gap. Thurman still had an impressive round as he clubbed his 7th home run as time expired, but it would leave him 1 short of Bacon's total. The big switch hitter had decided to bat left in the Derby. I wonder if it wasn't a mistake. Regardless, there were no hard feelings as the pals would shake hands and Thurman would wish Stu good luck. It all came down to this. Arnie Ramrod versus Stu Bacon to crown the Home Run Derby champion. Stu was first up in the final round. He had clubbed 16 home runs to this point in the Derby. Bacon got off to a very rough start. He wasn't able to get a ball over the fence until 40 seconds had already expired on the clock. After he hit his second homer, Stu took a much-needed timeout. Bacon had taken a ton of swings in the first 2 rounds, and it appeared that he was running out of steam here. His teammates served him some much-needed Gatorade to fuel him for the rest of the round. Stu resumed the round and was able to crank 3 more homers over the right field wall to finish with 5 total.
And that ends the round. He finishes with 5 home runs. And he will have to wait to see if that holds up.
It was Arnie Ramrod's time to shine. Arnie stepped up to the plate, needing to hit 6 homers to be crowned Derby champion. Ramrod quickly ripped 2 homers, but then the nerves started getting to him as he began taking some poor swings, got stuck on 2 home runs. With only 50 seconds left on the clock, he was trailing Bacon by 3 home runs, and he took his much-needed time out. Arnie saw how the Gatorade had helped rejuvenate Stu Bacon, so he motioned his teammates for it as well. Speculation has been running rampant that there was more than just Gatorade in the bottle. I guess we'll never know. Fresh from his break, Ramrod resumed his at-bat and quickly pulled 3 more home runs over the left field wall to equal Stu Bacon's total of 5. He had 10 seconds remaining on the clock.
Gone. No question about that one.
To the surprise of absolutely nobody, Arnie Ramrod was able to hit his 6th home run and conquer Stu Bacon in the final round. The pair would shake hands, and Arnie would proceed to celebrate with his teammates.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Home Run Derby champion, Major Dirtbag.
It was a great moment for Arnie and an impressive showing for the Red Sox overall. We have a one-day break now before the boys attempt to help the American League beat the National League at the All-Star Game.